Hello guys, welcome to another exciting episode in our CorelDraw design series. In this video, I'll be showing you how to design this flyer using the CorelDraw software, with steps which are breaking down in bits so you'll be able to understand as I have done in previous videos. Before I get started, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please kindly click the subscribe button and don't forget to turn on the post notifications so you won't miss any of the videos I'll be dropping shortly. Without further ado, let's get started. So I'll just go over to my CorelDraw, and the first thing we'll be doing, as always, I'll click on File and I'll click on New. And I'll go over to set the name for this. I'll just give mine nothing too long, BBQ, and primary color mode stays at RGB. The width is set to 4, the height set to 5, and resolution stays at 300. Very important, guys. So having done this, I'll just click OK. Then CorelDraw creates a design page for us. So the first thing we'll do when we're greeted with this page is double clicking on this rectangle here. So double click like this until you get something like this inside of your page. So having done this, I'll press F4 on my keyboard so I'll see everything well. So the first thing I want to quickly introduce is my first source file. Attached to this file, of course, is the resource file to this video. So do well to download them and use them and practice alongside with me. So next thing I would do is I would go to where I have my source file. If you're using a Windows 11, you might not be allowed to drag and drop just like I'm doing here in this video. So you can use your import command, but for me, I will just drag and I will drop like this inside of my software, just like this. I want to reduce the size. When you're reducing, make sure you hold down your shift key and you reduce from the edges like this. So first thing I want to do is I'll go to my transparency tool, select it, and I will click on fountain transparency, and I will click the elliptical fountain transparency, guys. Good. So what we're having now is the reverse of what we want to create. So how do we fix this? I'll come over to where I have my white points, and I'll set the value to 100. I'll click enter. Now don't worry if you're not seeing anything. I'll come over to where I have my black points outside here, and I will set the value to 0. If you've done that right, this is what you should get at the end of it. So I'll go back to my selection tool, my pick tool, and bring this outside a bit so we see what we're doing clearly. And right click on it and click on power click. When this arrow pops out, as usual, click on this rectangle. This is the drawing page we created. Now to ease out things, guys, don't always forget remove the outline. So I'll just come here and remove the outline of this drawing page. So I'll double click to access the power click content, and I'll click on transparency tool. I want to increase the edges, so I'll just drag my slider like this till I have my edges outside. I want to create enough white space, so I'll come back here and double click on this line like this to create another one, and I'll move this outside like this. Right, guys, so I have this nice vignette effect inside of this rectangle. So when I'm done with all of this, I'll just click finish. As you can see, guys, good. Having done this, I'll go back to my pick tool and F4 on my keyboard, or you can just come up here and click on to fit. Your page will be exactly like this. Okay, guys, the next thing I will want to do is to apply a white fill here. So what I'll do with that is I'll go back to my rectangle tool. I'll draw from this edge to this edge like this. I'll also be giving it a color, so I'll give it white like this. Again, I'll remove the outline. I'll come here and I'll right click on this to remove the outline. The next thing I want to do is I would use my transparency tool. I'll hold down my shift key and drag from white to black. As you know, guys, white reveals, black conceals. So I'll just drag this up like this and put this in place. So having done this, I want to power clip it inside of this content, this rectangle here, as you can see, because it's outside. You don't want any complication in moving these elements all around. So what I'll do simply do is I won't have to go and right click to click on Power Clip Inside. No, we don't have to do all of that again. So what I'll just do is Ctrl X to cut it, double click on the rectangle like this, and Ctrl V to paste it inside. So I can just space it out like this, or I can as well leave it inside like this. Okay, so having done this, I'll click on finish. Right, next thing I want to do is to introduce our elements. So the first one I'll be bringing in is the grill. So I'll just drag and I'll drop inside like this. Guys, if you are, like I said before, if you're using a Windows 11, or make it smaller. If you're using a Windows 11, you come over to your file and you click on import, guys. And having done this, just locate where you have your file on your PC, then bring it inside, just like I've done. Click on F4, so I'll see what I'm doing in real time. I might just have to reduce this a bit like this, and I'm good to go. I want to adjust the edges. As you can see, guys, I have these edges that are far away from the pot. So I'll go back to my shape tool and select drawing a marquee tool around this like this. I hold down my shift. I didn't select well. So select well like this and drag in like this. From the top, I'll also drag in like this, right? And from this point also, I'll drag in like this. And around this region, I'm going to bring it inside like this. Make sure you are not disrupting the shadow, or you are not having, or you're not doing something like this that will disrupt the shape itself. Alright guys, haven't done this, I think I'm okay. What I just want to do is I will click on it again to bring out the transform controls. Then I'll just click on this arrow here, this rotate, and I will rotate this pot like this. Good. So you can just do this manually, or you can come here and change the rotation value. I'll just set mine here to 340. Yeah, good. So I haven't done this, I'm good to go. So the next thing I'll be introducing is my text. I'll just bring in my text and everything. So the first one I'll be writing is the BBQ. So you can write make adjustments to your text outside and you bring it inside. Whichever way works for you is good. So I'll just type BBQ like this, and I'll change the font I use. The font I use for this, guys, is Lemon Milk. And I'll just change this to bolding like this, and like I said, I'll bring it inside like this. I'll go to my shape tool, select the shape tool, and zoom closer. So I want to get rid of all these spaces, so I'll just drag in like this. Nice, good. So having done this, I'll make this bigger like this, or you can come up here and change the value, change it to 75, or then you can choose to make things easy for yourself by increasing from the edges. Please guys, don't increase from the side like this, that's wrong, like you all know. So let's just move this in place here like this, and I'll have this here. But one thing I want to do, I would make sure the pot is the grill is on top of this text. So I'll just click Control Page Up to bring the grill up a bit like this. So guys, having done this, let's go on to bring in some other text and elements. So the next thing I want to do is I'll bring in my rectangle. I'll draw from this point here like this. Just click and drag to draw a point, just like this. I'll come here and select red for the color. Right, good. I'll come here and right click to get rid of the outline itself. Good. So having done this, I'll go back to object and I'll click on convert to curves, or I can just right click and convert to curves. The shortcut is Ctrl Q for that. Having done this, I'll head over to my pick tool and over to my shape tool again. I'll zoom close to see what I'm doing in real time. So I'll click on this edge like this, hold down my shift key while I drag inside like this, just to have this shade more defined. Right, good. So I'll make a duplicate copy of this shape, Ctrl C and Ctrl V, and I'll just drag down like this. Right, good. So what I'll do with this, I'll just come over here and click on mirror horizontally. Right, good. Now, having done this, I would still clicking on this rectangle. I'll come from the side like this and drag it inside this way. I'll come under here like this and drag it inside like this, just so I have something like this. So I would want to change the color of this, so I'll give it this orange color. Having done that, I will come to this red and I will want to create a gradient fill on this. In CorelDraw here, we'll call it fountain fill. So I'll just simply click on G, that's the shortcut on your keyboard, and when it pops up, I'll just simply drag from this point to this point here. Now don't worry guys, as you can see now it's going from red to white, but you can change this value here. Click on it and you can come here and select any color of your choice, but then I don't want to use this yellow, so Ctrl Z. So I'll just come and click this node color here, and we'll drag this down here to where I have this color here. So the value for this color I used is highlighted here. This is hash 4A 0A 0A. So I'll click on my pick tool and I'll select this one too. So I'll also do the same thing I did to this one here. I'll click on G on my keyboard and I'll drag and drop like this. But for this one, I'll be using this red here, right? What I can just do is just drag this out to change the location of the red and put it this way. Okay guys, the next thing I will do is I would bring in my text. So I will type cookout and I'll change it to this text that I use, the font that I use, which is this one, right? I'll change the color to white, come here and click white. I'll just drag in place here and put it here like this. Yeah, I'll make it a little bit bigger and I think I'm okay with it. I would make a duplicate copy of this text, Ctrl C and Ctrl V like this, and I'll drag down here just like this. Double click on it and Ctrl A to activate the text tool. So I'll just go on and type Fiesta like this, right? Good. Having done this, I would reduce in size like this and I'll just bring this inside. But then I have another problem. I would want to extend this text to this point here like this. So what I'll do, I'll go to my shape tool and I'll drag like this, just this way. I want to reduce the size of the text a bit. So I'll just reduce like this until I have something like this. Right guys, haven't done this, I'm cool with this. So the next thing I want to do is, because we're actually moving in steps, I would want to bring in another element that I use. But before I do that, I would select all of this, click and hold down your shift key to select more than one item. So I'll just select this for, to be sure of what you're selecting, I have selected the right thing. Make sure you always click and drag out to see it, right? So these are the things I'll be selecting. So I'll just group all of them like this by right clicking and selecting group, just like this. As you can see guys, I've grouped all of them, right? So next thing I want to do is bring in my next element, which is the barbecue. Okay, so I would drag inside like this and bring it here. Then again, I would reduce the size like this, reduce it furthermore, and just drag it inside like this. I'll see reduce it a bit, and good. So I have it somewhere here, as you can see guys. So I have it somewhere here. Also guys, it's very important when you're making your design to work with high quality images. It changes the overall look of your design, and you don't want to use a low quality image when you're designing for your clients. That's bad business guys. So next thing I want to do is I'll put this in place well here and I'll zoom out. to see what I'm doing in real time. The next thing I want to do is I'll bring in my next element, which is the fire on the barbecue and the grill. I'll drag in like this and place it here like this. Alright, so always make sure when you're designing, please use your mouse, because you will have to zoom in and zoom out at some point in time, and you can always do that easily with the help of your scroll wheel. So I'll just make it smaller so it fits into what I want to use it for. So I'll make it smaller again like this, and I'll bring it here. Alright guys, so I'll make it smaller again. When I'm okay with the position it is currently, I want to bring it outside here a bit. Good. The first thing I want to do is I want to get rid of, like I mentioned before while starting, you don't want to have all of these boxes outside, like these nodes you have now. You can see you have nodes outside. So what I can do to that is I'll go over to my shape tool and highlight these two areas and hold down my shift key while I drag inside like this. This is how I get rid of those areas. As you can see now, it's safe inside of our drawing page. Remember, anything outside our drawing page would not be printed out if in terms of when we finally decide to send this to print. So always make sure everything you're doing is inside of the page. So I'll click on this and I'll go over to my transparency tool and I will select screen. So having done this, I'll just drag this down here like this and make a duplicate copy of this, Ctrl C and Ctrl V, and I would make this smaller so I can use it somewhere else, as you can see guys, right? So having done this, I'm good to go. The next thing I'll be creating now is I'll be adding the date of this event. So I'll go over to my ellipse tool. I'll hold down my control. When you want to draw a perfect circle, make sure you're holding down the control key. Very important. Hold down my control. I'll give it, as you can see guys, because we've used this orange color, so I'll just come down here and use the orange color. Go over to this point and remove the outline. So I'll make a duplicate copy of this ellipse, Ctrl C and Ctrl V, and I will bring down here like this. With this one selected, I'll go over to where I have my black here. I'll hold down my control and press 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times guys. 5 times. So what I can just do is I need to put in the dates inside here now. This is what to carry dates. So I'll just come over to my I'll come over to my text tool and to type my dates. So I'll just type 25th. First, I'll change the font to what I used here, which is this Galanogo text alt black. So as you can see, I've changed it. So I'll just give it white. I'll take it inside here like this, right? And make this smaller, just like this, and push it up a bit. And Ctrl C, Ctrl V to make a duplicate copy of it while I drag this down. So I'll use this to write the months, right? So 25th of December, just like this, right guys? So I'll select the two of them and increase the size, of course, from the edges again. Make sure you are reducing the size from the edges. Okay guys, having done this, I'll click on F4 to see everything I've done in real time, and this is what it looks like. Good. The next thing I want to do is I want to introduce, before I do that, I want to increase the size of this cooking fiesta, everything we group here. So I'll just increase the size like this, and I'll bring it down a little bit. Right, good. So I can just take this up a bit, right? So having done this, this is okay, and I'm good to go, and I'm okay with it. So the next thing I want to do is I'll go over to where I have my file files, and I'll click on the scan code, and I'll also drag down like this inside of my page. Once it's inside my page, I'll reduce the size like this, and I will just drag it inside of it here like this. I'll zoom close to see what I'm doing clearly and increase the size so I can have it visible and just in the right place where I want it to be. So having done this, I'll click on my text tool and I'll write this, save the dates, right? Of course, I'll change to the text I use, which is Army Holland demo, and I'll click enter to apply the same to apply it. I'll click enter. Good. Having done this, the first thing I will do is I'll come up here with your pick tool selected, guys. Always make sure your pick tool is selected. I'll come over here and I'll click on center to put this in the center. Next thing I'll do is I'll click on my shape tool, and from this point I'll drag up like this just to close the gap between the save and the date. Having done this, because I'm making this smaller, I would like to add an outline to this. So I'll just right click on this black to give it an outline, as you can see, guys. So having done this, I can choose to reduce the size manually by typing 10 and enter like that. So with this done, I'll move this here, and I want to make it smaller, so I'll just change the value to 7 like this. And good, as you can see, guys, perfect, just the way we would want it to be. I'll just increase the size of the barcode a bit and make sure it's in place. Of course, I'll zoom out back to see what I'm doing in real time. And I want to change the direction of the barcode, so I'll just select the two of them and bring it to this location here like this, guys. Okay, so having done this, the next thing I want to do is introduce some other elements. Well, before I do that, let me just complete my phase of typing. So I'll just go over to my text tool and write some other things. Cdr like this. I'll change the font again to what I used here, which is this, and I'll change the color that I use. So in my color palette, I might just choose to scroll down here like this and change it to this green here, guys. Because I want to increase the black level of this green I used, I'll just scroll up using your scroll wheel in your color palette and click on this black here, hold down your control key and click on it like this 5 times again, guys, to make sure you've changed 5 times like this. Now what this does is it just adds black, more black to this text. So what this does is it just adds more depth by adding black to this color that you have already. So I'll just zoom out here like this and make sure I put this in place well. So Ctrl C and Ctrl V to duplicate this, and I'll just go ahead and type some other things. These are the features. Parking space. Having done this, I'll come here and reduce it to 10, and I would move this in place here like this. And the last thing I want to do is I'll add my address. Good. So Orleans Drive, New York City, just like this. And I'll change it. I wouldn't be using this, so I'll use something else. I'll use the semi-bold for this address right now. So I'll just reduce the size a bit like this and put this in place just like this. I might have to want to zoom in like this and reduce the size. Right? Good. So having done this, I'll just with my pick tool selected, I'll just draw a marquee tool around it like this, and I'll press C. Now what this does is, as you can see, it has centralized everything. So we have everything centralized. Good. So I'll just move this up a bit to this position and I'm good to go. So guys, the next thing I would want to do is I would want to add some other elements to it. Now we're bringing some more elements into this design. Now that I've arranged my pictures and I have my text ready and good to go, so I'll bring in some other things into this design. Now the first thing I want to bring in is this palm leaves. So I'll just drag inside like this and I'll drop inside this way, right? So one thing I want to do with this is, as you can see now, it's up. We don't want it in this region, so I'll just click on this part here like this to mirror vertically. So I would then again make it small. So I'll just drag it downwards here to this point here where I have it here, and I'll make this smaller. And I think somewhere around here is cool. So I'll click on it again. Let me zoom close. I'll click on it again to activate my transform controls. So I'll just rotate it here like this and make sure it doesn't touch what I have here. So I'll have it this way. I'll make a duplicate copy of this, Ctrl C and Ctrl V, and bring this over here, right guys? And I'll just click on mirror horizontally. Yeah, this is how I want it to be. So I can just bring this up here a bit and I can increase the size like this. Alright guys, so having done this, I would want to put all these texts, like these three that we did, inside of this power clip content. So how would I do that? First of all, select the three of them, 1, 2 and 3. Zoom close to see what you're doing clearly, and also to aid your selection process. I'll do that again. Select this 1, 2 and 3 and right click and click on group. So you can see guys, I've grouped the three of them like this. So I'll just press Ctrl X on my keyboard, zoom out, double click on the rectangle to gain access into the power clip content, and press Ctrl V to paste it inside here. As you can see now, it's now inside of the content. As you can see now, CorelDraw allows you to see even the exterior of your design even when you are in the power clip mode. So what I will just do is click on finish like this, and good, I'm good to go. Now let's modify this element we brought in. So I'll go over to effect. Under effect, I'll go to blur. Under blur, I'll click on Gaussian blur. So I'll just change this value here to 4. Make sure you turn on preview to see what you're doing in real time. Okay, so this is what 4 looks like. I think I would set it to 6. Let's see, change the value to 6. Perhaps we can do a 10. Let's see what 10 looks like. Or you can increase this manually by clicking here. Okay, I think I'll use a 4.9 pixels for this. Okay guys, by dragging the slider up, it adds more of that effect to it. But I'd like to leave mine somewhere around here, 4.9 pixels, and I'll click OK. Right, so what I can do to this is I'll just click on Ctrl X to cut, double click on the rectangle, and once you gain access to the power clip content, click on Ctrl V to paste it inside. When you've done this, just click on finish. This is what you should have. Now with this one, I'll add a blur effect to it, but it will be subtle, not like what we have here. So I'll go to effects and go to blur, and I'll select Gaussian blur again, but this time I'll drag my value down like this, right? So it's not as aggressive as the one I have here. So I'll just click OK. So having done this, I'll press Ctrl X on my keyboard, double click on this again, and click on paste, Ctrl V for paste. Good. So when I've done this, the next thing that I will do is click on finish. Alright guys, this is what you should have if you've done exactly as I have done here. Okay, so let's click on F4 to see everything we're doing in real time. Okay guys, just a few steps and we're done with this design. So the next thing we will be doing here is bringing in the next element, which is this bamboo leaf. So I'll just drag inside like this and bring inside here like this. right? Again, I'll just make this smaller. Hold down your shift key and reduce the size like this, and I'll just bring it to this point because this is where I want to have it. Most times when you are planning your design, it's a good practice that you have exactly what you set out to do, so it will be very easy for you getting your elements and putting them together to make your design pop out, you know. Okay, good. So what I'll just do is I'll click on it to activate my transform controls, and I'll just rotate this here like this. Having done this, I'll bring this down here because I want to have it in this region, right? So what I can just do is I'll go over to effect, I'll click on blur and Gaussian blur, and I'll be applying the blur effect to this, but I don't want this to be too much, so I'll just drag this down here like this. So I'll drag this down furthermore. I think I'm okay with 1.9. Make sure you turn on preview to see what you are doing. Good. So I haven't done this. I'll click OK. Good. So next thing I'll do is I'll cut this, Ctrl X to cut it, and I'll double click on the rectangle here, and to paste it, Ctrl V to paste it just like this. Okay, guys. I'll click on finish, and just to see what we've done. Right, guys. In the original file, I didn't add this bamboo leaf to this part, but I can see that it's looking nice here like this. So what I want to do is I'll double click on it like this, and I would Ctrl C, Ctrl V to make a duplicate copy of this. This is what we have, and I'll just mirror this by clicking this, and I'll just drag to this region here like this, right? And I would have this here like this, just for uniformity purpose. Okay, so guys, having done this, the next thing I'll be doing is I'll be introducing my last element I used for this design. So I'll go back to my source file and click on this light, drag again and drop inside like this. Of course, we want to make it smaller like this, so we'll just go over to this point and just to make it smaller here like this, and I'll bring to this point here like this. Don't worry, guys, we'll be taking it inside of our clip rectangle, so I'll just move it here just to get the effect that I want to. So after I visualize it like this, I'll go over to my transparency tool, I'll click on it, and immediately I'll click on screen. I'll change the blend mode to screen. Okay, guys, so if you change it to screen, this is what you have. So having done this, I'll just simply go back to my pick tool, and I'll press Ctrl X on my keyboard to cut this, and double click on the rectangle, and I'll just simply paste it, Ctrl V to paste it inside. Okay, guys, so having done this, I'll click on finish. If you've done this the right way, this is what you should have. All right. So one last thing, I just want to increase it. So what I'll just do is, and I don't want it to be above this text we have here. So I'll just go back inside the bar, click content, and from outside I'll select draw a marquee tool, just so I'm selecting this text, and click on shift page up to bring it up. I'll go over to this one here I have here, and I'll take it up a bit just to this region, and increase the size like this. And when I'm done with this, I'll just click on finish. Alright, guys, and if for any reason you feel this light effect is not visible enough, you can go back there and click on it and press Ctrl C to copy and Ctrl V to paste. So pasting more of the copies of this light intensify the effects. So what I'll just do is I'll click on finish, and let's see what we have. As you can see, guys, the effect has been intensified. Alright, guys, but then again, it pasted it directly on top of this our text here. You can just leave it, and I think I'm okay with it the way it is, so I'll just leave it the way it is. And The last thing I want to be doing is I want to create a light effect on top of this. So I'll go back to my ellipse tool. I'll zoom close to this region here, and I'll hold down Control key and draw the ellipse like this. Having done this, I'll give it the color white, remove the outline, right click here, and I'll go over to my transparency tool, select this first one, fountain transparency, and of course, like we've done before, select the elliptical fountain transparency, just like this. After you've done this, click on the pick tool and simply hold down your shift key and reduce the size on the side, that's the bottom part, like this, just to create this kind of lighting effect, right? So after you've done this, just hold down shift key to expand this again, just like this. As you can see, guys, we just created a nice touchdown light effect on this rectangle. To make it more interesting, I'll Ctrl C and Ctrl V and hold down my shift key while I reduce from the edge on this one here, like this. So this is what I have. Alright guys, so having done this, this is what I will be having. This is how I apply the light effects. So having done all of this, I would click on F4 to see everything I have done in real time. Okay guys, this brings me to the end of my tutorial section on this BBQ flyer. If you've not subscribed to my channel, please kindly click on the subscribe button and don't forget to turn on the post notification so you won't miss any of the videos I'll be dropping after this time out. Please like my videos, share, drop your comments, drop a thumbs up if you like this video in the comment section, and if you want to see more of my videos, type more in the comment section and I'll definitely get back to you.